Majority Report with Sam Seder.
The destiny of America is always safer in the hands of the people than in the conference rooms of any elite.
Sam Seder.
They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
The Majority Report with Sam Seder.
Ever get the feeling you've been cheated?
It is Tuesday, June 11th, 2024. My name is Sam Seder. This is the five-time award-winning Majority Report. We are broadcasting live steps from the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal in the heartland of America, downtown Brooklyn, USA. On the program today, Hamas accepts UN and U.S.-backed ceasefire resolution. Israel still wants to attack Gaza. Meanwhile, Sam Alito laid bare in secret recordings at a Supreme Court charity gala. Also on the program today, UN says both Hamas and Israel may have committed war crimes over the raid, which rescued 4 and killed nearly 300. Republican primaries in Maine, Nevada, North Dakota, and South Carolina today. Kevin McCarthy going Nancy Mace hunting. South Carolina. Meanwhile, across the country, violent crime down 15% nationally in 2024. Murders and rapes down by over 25% for the first quarter of 2024. Meanwhile, dock workers threaten strike at U.S. seaports on both the east and west coasts. And the Teamsters president has requested speaking time at both the Republican and Democratic conventions. This just in, jury convicts Hunter Biden of 3 felonies. Hunter Biden is now a convicted felon. Ladies and gentlemen,
Biden
of
gets
course,
the black vote back.
This is going to help Joe Biden, with obviously with minorities, according to the
right wing
Trump formula.
Yep.
And maybe, for that matter, parents, because they all have kids who get in trouble sometimes.
Good point.
Speaking of polls, poll of Jewish Americans. They plan to vote against Donald Trump in numbers greater than 2020 this time around. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau rules that medical debt cannot impact credit rating anymore. This is going to impact 15 million Americans and is predicted to lead to 22,000 additional mortgages. Never mind car loans, business loans, other types of, home equity loans, personal loans, credit card rates, all that and more on today's Majority Report. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. People are going crazy. Mavigland.
What are they going crazy for?
About this news about Hunter Biden. Folks are saying that Hunter Biden is our nation's Mandela. Nolito, justice for all has been served.
You don't respect the rule of law.
There you go.
You shat all over it.
Hunter.
That's what you did. And we know it now.
Nolito says we can all rest easy in our homes now that Hunter Biden's been convicted. We no longer have to worry that drug users with guns are a threat to us all, et cetera, et cetera.
Fighting crime.
No, what we're supposed to be doing is we're supposed to be saying, oh my gosh, our country as we know it is under attack. The justice system politicized to go against our most patriotic of patriots.
This is exactly what Biden wants.
Yes.
Look, let's be clear. If they can go after Hunter Biden, they can go after any of us. But we will we'll talk more about that as we continue the program. First, we are now. What is the official day? I vote now early voting. So I don't know. But when is the Democratic primary is June 25th. Okay.
In New York.
In New York State. And
but early voting, I think, opens up in a few days. The 15th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, but you can also do mail-in balloting. You can pick that up now, as far as I know, up until I think early voting starts. In the New York's 17th district, you have Jamal Bowman, the incumbent, is being challenged by the Westchester County Executive George Latimer for this congressional seat. Latimer is on the receiving end of perhaps, I think, the single biggest dump of money, period, by outside expenditures in a primary, certainly within a Democratic primary. And 90% of which comes via APAC-affiliated outside expenditure groups, DMFI, and then there's another one, actually, that they're using.
UDP, the United Democracy Project, which is sort of the whitewasher because they want it to be less associated.
Right. This is like a Clean Skies initiative from the Bush administration type of stuff.
Much of it is Republican money being dumped into a Democratic primary. I think
the single biggest recipient of Republican money.
Yep. Trying to make that clear.
In the primary. Now, it makes sense because Latimer is on record saying he would not vote to increase taxes on wealthy people. One of the key sort of planks of Joe Biden's reelection campaign. He has said that the reason why Bowman won his election in the first place was because black people were allowed to vote by mail-in ballots. And also, to be fair, because of George Floyd.
Oh, right. The George Floyd effect.
He's an incredible, he's scummy. I mean, I don't know how else to put it.
He hasn't disclosed his personal finances. He was supposed to do so by law in December or when he officially declared. Either way, he's months overdue, which begs the question, what do you have to hide?
And listen to how he goes after. I mean, I honestly don't remember a race where there was this much race baiting in a Democratic primary in many cycles. I'm sure maybe there's some that I'm just not aware of, but this is the most high profile race baiting Democratic primary I've seen in ages. And honestly, I mean, I know I should not be shocked, but I am shocked that the Democratic establishment has not distanced themselves from this guy Latimer. Here is a snippet from their debate. Well, I guess this was last night.
Their agenda. And make no mistake about it, Jamal's got his own agenda. He's been endorsed by the DSA. They have an agenda to wipe out Israel. They have an agenda to lift sanctions on Russia. He accuses me of being pro-Russian. Give me a break. The DSA is pro-Russian and pro-Iran and pro-North Korean. He went begging for their endorsement last week when he got it. And the Justice Democrats, I use the word in quotation marks, that intend to destroy the Democratic Party in order to radicalize it. This is what's wrong in Washington. You've seen rational government in White Plains that has advanced us in every area of public policy. Oh, the host of things that we've done. And he will tell you that what we've done in White Plains isn't good enough. What we've done is accomplish things. What he's done is give speeches all across the country. And when you get as much money as you get from outside the district, your constituency is Dearborn, Michigan.
All right, pause it for 1 second. Before we get into his racism, for George Latimer to even bring up outside money from outside of the district is, I mean, aside from being one of the most like audacious, sort of like factually speaking, misrepresentations that I can possibly remember, it's just incredibly bogus. He is getting all of his money, not just from outside of his district, but outside the party.
It's Karl Rovian.
It is totally Karl Rovian. This is the best I could say about him is it's completely old school Republican dirty tactics.
Well, because as you mentioned, the money that he's getting is not traceable in the same way that someone like Jamal Bowman, who is relying on small dollar donations, in the way that it is. And we know that AIPAC is funneling money into these shadowy groups that are funding campaigns like this. And it seems like they think that Jamal Bowman is the easiest target for them to take out, to say, like, see, we have a win. We're able to punish people for being pro-Palestinian. Even if public opinion is moving away from us, we are still able to get somebody out of Congress and deliver for the right-wing pro-Israel lobby. And in case you guys didn't, you missed it, Dearborn, Michigan was mentioned there.
Well, we're just about to listen to it.
Okay.
Here we go. All right, go ahead. Continue.
Is give speeches all across the country. And when you get as much money as you get from outside the district, your constituency is Dearborn, Michigan. Your constituency is San Francisco, California. It's not Harrison. It's not Tuckahoe. It's not Scarsdale. You're not even there to be part of the events of those communities. So I think, what has to happen in the next 2 years is you send somebody
to Washington. He is arguing, I mean, he's basically talking about Dearborn, Michigan, because that's where there's a high concentration of Muslims and Palestinians and Arab Americans. And I guess the San Francisco thing is what is supposed
liberals.
To be. Well, I mean, and I should correct myself. I said 17th, New York 16th district.
No, it's 17, not 16.
It's the 16th district.
Are you almost...
Yes.
Oh, it says 16th? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. It's the 16th district. And I said 17. And the idea that San Francisco is any more liberal than New York 16th is absurd.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, is he running against Nancy Pelosi? Like, I'm unclear what the deal is here.
He's using the attacks that Bowman used on Elliot Engel, that he was never in the district, or that AOC used against Joe Crowley, where it's not, I mean, you can have your criticisms of Jamal Bowman, but I think he's fairly intimately involved in his district. He was a school principal, school teacher, educator before he ran for Congress. I just think that attack falls pretty flat, honestly.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this race. We have links, and we'll put links up for phone banking for Jamal Bowman, both from the WFP and the DSA. Also, links to canvassing if you want to get involved in canvassing. I mean, there's no way Jamal Bowman is going to even come remotely close to being able to compete with Latimer in terms of money. I don't know. We haven't seen the latest figures, but 2-to-1, 3-to-1. It's going to be extraordinary how much he is outspent. The way that Bowman's going to win this race is if people mobilize by calling into the district, by canvassing in the district, by talking to people who live in the district. Very important race. both in terms of like Jamal Bowman being a very good congressperson from a progressive perspective, right? I mean, a member of the squad, but also in terms of sending a message that Republican money should not be determining the outcome of Democratic primaries, particularly in New York State.
Yeah.
I mean, really anywhere. But I mean, this isn't,
and this
isn't South Carolina we're talking about here.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a blue district in New York State, and the biggest amount of money is going to be coming from Republican billionaires.
And when he mentions Dearborn there, by the way, that's where Rashida Tlaib, that's part of her district. That's what she represents. So it's a dog whistle in many ways. Can you imagine if Bowman had said that about a primarily Jewish part of the country?
Oh,
no. I mean, Islamophobia is so baked into our discourse right now, I think in part because it's an institutional part of our foreign policy. But it's just incredible what people can get away with saying, and it's just open bigotry like that.
I mean, this honestly should be something that Hakeem Jeffries comes out, and instead of like sort of being on the sidelines here, he should be coming out and telling Latimer we don't want that kind of bigotry in our Democratic primaries.
I also just say him saying Bowman doesn't show up to things in his district. Latimer put out this ad just a little bit ago, and he green screened himself into the Bronx. You could just
oh my God! Seriously?
He did, yeah. This part.
I'm George Latimer, and whether you live in Portchester, Greenburgh, or Co-op City, we're fed up with the chaos that's hanging over our heads.
He's not actually.
Trump
Wow,
extremists
that's
in Washington.
amazing.
Do you notice that woman is just sitting there and I don't think moves once in the background? So he posted a photo trying to refute that, saying, "Oh, I did shoot some shots there," but I mean, like,
they sent a camera crew down there to get some B-roll.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, and maybe he had to correct himself with like a second shoot, but there's no way that's not a green screen, right?
That is, it seems like explicitly a green screen to me.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. You
Yeah,
can't
I'm
even
sure
be bothered to head down there for an ad?
Yeah, I'm sure they just were able to scope those quotes behind him so easily without the green screen.
Right.
For a political ad, they wanted to go through that much CGI.
And I'm sure people would just be walking behind somebody clearly shooting something and not even like glancing over at the camera to see, hey, what's up here?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, keep going. Let's see if people walking by him.
Right. Just nonchalant. I know it's New York, but.
Oh, just keep walking by like we're not even here.
Right,
wow, look at all those people.
Wow, lots of traffic.
Trump extremists in Washington and a Congress.
All those people are walking across. Nobody's seeing anything.
You know me. I took on the NRA to ban gun shows and reduce gun violence.
And he pretends like he's a progressive. We don't need to.
Yeah, get out of here. All right. Couple words from our sponsor today. As part of my ongoing project to get rid of single-use plastics in my home, and also to help my back, so I don't have to carry like a massive jug of gosh knows what chemicals are in the laundry detergent. I have been using Earth Breeze Eco Sheets. They look just like dryer sheets. But what, in fact, they are ultra concentrated, liquidless laundry detergent. So it's the best of both worlds. Earth Breeze is, cleans like a great detergent, but it's also kind to the planet and your skin, and also saves an incredible amount of space in your apartment or even in your home. I mean, just because you have a big home doesn't mean that you need to have like an equally big
you could always use
jug of laundry detergent. Right now, you can subscribe to Earth Breeze and save 40%. Go to earthbreeze.com/majority to get started. I want to thank Earth Breeze for supporting the show and, frankly, saving me so much space in my apartment. I can't even believe it. It literally, a pack of these things I don't know how many washes you get, a bunch of washes out of it, is like, it's like this thick, like this thick. And you take each sheet, you fold it up, you put it in the little, I don't know, not the drum, right into the receptacle.
Oh.
I suppose you could put it in the drum before you put the clothes in. Sometimes I know people do that, but I don't do that.
I do that.
Oh, I don't do that. Oh. But you fold it up, you put it in there, bingo, bango, you're done. And so that means that you're not using single-use plastics. You're not using even recyclable plastics for that matter, because it doesn't even recycle 100% regardless. You're not having to carry this junk back from the supermarket. It's a win across all of it. And the best part for me, well, not the best part, but the key part for me, they have a fragrance-free option. EarthBreeze Echo Sheets are dermatologist tested. They are hyperallergenic. They are free of bleach. They are free of dyes. They are free of parabens. EarthBreeze got rid of a bunch of unnecessary chemicals for a formula that's kind to sensitive skin of all ages, including babies like me. With EarthBreeze, there's no more heavy lifting or measuring sticky blue goo from a massive plastic jug. EarthBreeze is lightweight. Its cardboard packaging takes up a fraction of the space in your laundry room versus traditional detergent, or for those of us who don't have a laundry room, underneath the sink.
Right.
That's where I keep all my stuff. EarthBreeze offers flexible subscriptions delivered via carbon offset shipping right to your door for free, because unfortunately you'll never run out of laundry, and now you'll never run out of detergent. I am telling you, try this. You will never go back. But if for whatever reason you don't like it, you can get a full refund on your EarthBreeze purchase, no questions asked. These tiny sheets can stop millions of detergent jugs from entering our ecosystems. In fact, 500 million detergent jugs end up in landfills and oceans every single year. 91% of single-use plastic does not get recycled, including the stuff we put in our recycling bins. By the year 2050, the ocean's going to have more plastic than fish. That's according to scientists, I guess. Making a positive impact in the world doesn't have to come at a cost to you. My clothes are clean. They smell great. And I feel like I actually did something good. And also, frankly, I don't have to carry this stuff back from the supermarket.
Very nice.
Right now, my listeners can receive 40% off EarthBreeze by just going to earthbreeze.com/majority. That's earthbreeze.com/majority to cut out single-use plastics in your laundry room. Claim 40% off your subscription. Link in the normal places. Meanwhile, getting close to Father's Day. Have you gotten a gift yet? No. My bet is no. Well, I've got the perfect gift for you for Father's Day, because A, it's a great gift, and B, you can buy it like that. Everybody knows, I think you should know, your parents aren't going to be around forever. Your dad's not going to be around forever. Your mom's not going to be around forever. Your grandfather, if they're still with you, uncles, whatnot. This is the perfect gift for them and for you and for future generations. It is called Storyworth. Storyworth helps you preserve precious memories and stories from your parents and important family figures for years and years to come. I want to thank Storyworth for sponsoring the Majority Report. Storyworth is offering $10 off your first purchase at storyworth.com/majority. I've gotten this gift from my dad. I'm going to get one, I think, even for my son.
Oh, it's a good idea.
Because, he's at an age where he's not going to remember these stories. And what I'm doing with my son is, this is your gift to me for Father's Day.
Ah.
That's my new thing now. But my dad, it's a normal thing, and he had actually even said to me a while back, he's like, I know this guy, he did a whole biography of himself. He was like a businessman, and he paid for it, and this and that. My father was all excited because he was mentioning it. I'm like, have I got something for you? I didn't tell him at the time, but I knew I was going to get him this. And what happens is each week Storyworth emails your loved one a thought-provoking question that you get to help to pick if you want. And they just respond to it. And it can be a very simple question. What was your favorite car? Or what was the first time, I don't know, you felt brave or whatever it is. And the questions are deceptively sort of like thought-provoking. All your loved one needs to do is respond to that email with a story. It could be a paragraph. It could be 10 paragraphs. It could be, I don't know, on and on. It doesn't matter. You're going to get an email copy of your loved one's response and each week over the year. And then at the end of the year, after reading these stories and whatnot,
right.
Storyworth compiles your loved one's stories and photos that you can add into it, into a beautiful keepsake hardcover book that you're going to be able to share with them, with yourself. You get multiple gifts out of it. And for generations to come, in short, families love Storyworth. Give all the fathers in your life a unique, heartfelt gift you could cherish for years. Storyworth. Right now, save $10 on your first purchase when you go to storyworth.com/majority. That's storyworth.com/majority to save $10 on your first purchase. Okay, let's get back into things. I want to just touch on let's just go over this. Hamas has accepted, and I guess really since yesterday, the UN voted to pass the U.S.-backed ceasefire resolution. It has a 3-phase plan. You may have heard of this before. I think it's slightly different from the thing that Biden had talked about. And I will point out where I think it's slightly different. It starts with an immediate ceasefire, the release of all hostages in exchange for Palestinians being held in Israeli prisons, the return of displaced Gazans to their homes to the extent that those homes exist, or at the very least, I think into the sort of geographic locations, because I don't know what the latest numbers is, but it has to be close to 75% of like homes have been destroyed in Gaza. And the full withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza. The second phase calls for a permanent ceasefire with an agreement of both parties. And the third year phase would consist of a multi-year reconstruction plan for Gaza and a return of the remains of deceased hostages. However, the proposal says if the negotiations, and this is the part I think that is a little bit different from what Biden said and what was supposedly keeping the Israelis from signing on to it. If the negotiations take longer than 6 weeks for phase one, the ceasefire will still continue as long as negotiations continue, which means that after 6 weeks, theoretically, Israel could walk away from the table, or I guess theoretically Hamas could. But from the Israelis' perspective, this is one of the things they want. They could walk away from the table and the ceasefire would end. And I think that the idea here is, as Matt put before the show, you get the kid out of the pool and then maybe they don't want to go back in.
That's the idea.
That's the idea.
You can understand how that was a sticking point for Hamas, which has since maybe like February or March broadly agreed to a majority of the conditions in this framework that have remained relatively similar, but that major sticking point for months has been temporary versus permanent. This gives Israel the wiggle room to say maybe they'll go back in, which I would be extremely concerned about, but perhaps Biden's team is giving Hamas basically some sort of assurances behind the scenes.
Well, I don't know how much assurance they can give, but it is Hamas has signed off on this. And here is, now it's become a sort of really explicit. As of yesterday, supposedly Hamas had not agreed to the ceasefire deal, which we saw mixed reporting on. But here is MSNBC's Andrea Mitchell attempting to clarify with Blinken yesterday that very question, and sort of pointing out that, like, it doesn't feel like you're an honest broker between these two parties because aside from the fact that you're funding all of this, you're not stating Israel's position regarding the ceasefire plan.
You say that everyone but Hamas has agreed to this. Benjamin Netanyahu has certainly said otherwise publicly, and the hostage families are saying you should try everything. If this fails, and it's quite possible it will fail with him now toughening his position more likely with his right-wing partners. If this fails, they want you to work through Qatar and deal with Hamas to get the Americans home. And we are reporting at NBC News that that is being discussed as a backup plan, if no other way to get a ceasefire, doing it without Israel agreeing to a ceasefire. Can you tell us about that? And also, if the war continues, won't the Palestinian death toll be unacceptable, as the National Security Advisor in Israel has said, to the end of the year, after such a horrific...
The proposal. In fact, they were critical in putting it forward.
I don't think
so. The only party... No, that is what the official position of the Israeli government, the Prime Minister. So the only party that has not accepted, the only party that's not said yes, is Hamas. That's who everyone's waiting on. That's who the Palestinians in Gaza are waiting on. It's who the Israelis are waiting on. It's who the hostages and the hostage families are waiting on. It's who the entire region and the entire world is waiting on. And so we'll see. Does Hamas want to end this conflict, end this war that it started, or not? We'll find out. But it's clear that virtually the entire world has come together in support of the proposal. And the only open question is, will Hamas say yes?
I mean, this is just so...
it's insanity.
Make-believe.
It's so make-believe, and I don't like who they think that this is working with. But now at least we have... I mean, look here, just put up this. I mean, so now we know that we can. I want you to put up this this headline from Reuters, and I love how it says Hamas says it accepts.
Right. I mean, you
what
can't
do they got to do?
Them.
What do you got to? What do they got to do? Normally, you'd say Hamas accepts UN-backed Gaza truce plan. I don't know why it doesn't say U.S. says it cites hopeful sign. But the bottom line is everybody's waiting on Israel.
It's odd because there's just a lot of contradictory tactics here, really all trying to avoid the number one thing that Biden doesn't want to do, which is withhold arms to Israel, which is what makes the most sense. It's all in keeping of hugging Israel as close as possible, protecting them from being able to say that this was some sort of defeat, because we know that Hamas is increasing its attacks in the north and has started to recruit people, so there's really a major failure here beyond the security failures on October 7th that the United States is trying to save Israel from in order to hope that it agrees to America's demands here. So they're trying to give them cover in the press, but it's been 9 months. Can we have some sort of reckoning with the fact that a guy like Benjamin Netanyahu is not somebody who responds to a hug? He's somebody who responds to material threats. And the reality that we talked about yesterday, where Benny Gantz is leaving the war cabinet, means that Netanyahu is even more dependent on his far right coalition members, Smotrich, Ben-Gvir, who are saying, we will literally push you out of power if you agree to a ceasefire deal. And that reality hasn't changed for the past few months. So it might be time to stop hugging in different ways and just withhold arms to force your position. But they're trying to avoid that because of God knows why.
Sunk cost fallacy.
But if you're trying
or just ideology. I mean, who knows?
If you're trying to pressure them in the press, then why are you giving them the cover to say that it's their proposal at the same time? So you can't both give them the strategic victory and then also try to be putting the screws on Netanyahu. It doesn't make any sense from a messaging perspective.
Better invite him to talk in front of Congress.
I guess we'll get a better notion in the next 24 hours. I mean, it's pretty explicit. You're either signing on to the UN resolution or you're not. And if everybody signed on to the UN resolution, let's implement it.
Right.
I just want to touch on this as well. This is good news. And again, you have to take these things with a grain of salt because we're only, this is for Q1 in 2024, but it's consistent with what we've seen. People tend to forget that in 2020, we had a once in a lifetime, hopefully, pandemic that implicated the entire world.
Yeah.
And our society in particular is particularly vulnerable to a pandemic, despite the fact that we're the richest country in the world, despite the fact that we theoretically have the most resources to deal with it. We have the least sort of cohesive social safety net of any country in the West. We had forces in this country that were determined not to lose money and to exploit this opportunity at every turn, and were willing to fund a huge COVID denial program, including the president, frankly, at the time, because if you can work from home, you want to send the other workers in to go do the work, and you can go enjoy,
bring DoorDash?
The benefits. Exactly. And one of the things, as opposed to other countries around the world, we had an increase in violent and crime of all sorts, frankly, much more so than in other countries. And I think a big part of that is, and who was it that we had spoken to about the who had the book on 2020?
Eric Kleinenberg.
Eric Kleinenberg, made the point that like our the fabric of our society is woven in a different way than other societies, and instead of coming together to fight this thing, it actually pulled us apart in many respects. Nevertheless, increasingly, the phenomena of the pandemic, though not COVID itself, is in our rearview mirror, at least in terms of what it did to broad strokes, within our society and the way our society functioned. And as it gets further in the rearview mirror, you start to see things like crime plunging. New numbers show violent crime from January to March dropped 15.2% compared to the same period in 2023. Murders fell 26.4%, and reported rapes decreased by 25.7%. Aggravated assaults decreased during that period when compared to last year by 12.5%, according to the data, while robberies fell 17.8%. Now, look, we're not giving the raw statistics because, A, many crimes go unreported. But there's no reason to believe that there's any more crimes being unreported this year than there was last year or the year before.
Right.
There's absolutely no reason to think that the rate of reporting, whatever it is, has changed. There's also no reason to think that police forces have less of incentive to increase the amount of crimes that are taking place than they did before either.
Right.
Because that's how their budgets are determined.
I mean, if you're going to say that these law enforcement organizations or the FBI are not being truthful or haven't been, because this is how historically we've tracked crime, then you would, I think, have to make the case. Why would they want to downplay crime?
Because they want to make Biden look good.
Right.
Deep state.
But that's again, so if you want to go down that road, I think that you're in conspiracy-minded cuckooville.
They don't want Trump, so they're lying.
But because law enforcement, we know, trends right, they want more money. By definition, it just makes it more sense for them if they're going to do anything to this or be untruthful about the statistics. They would inflate crime rates.
Yes, but either way, there's no reason to think they're going to be more untruthful this year than last year, et cetera, et cetera. And so, and we should say this is only about 75% of the law enforcement agencies that report about almost 14,000 of the about 19,000 law enforcement agencies from across the country. But for statistically speaking, for these numbers to be incorrect, at least for the first 3 months of the year,
yeah,
that those other whatever it is, 5,000 crime would have had to have shot through the roof.
That would have to be all of like the Gotham cities from the Batman,
exactly,
the Batman trilogy to make up for to say that we're going back down from say a 26.4% murder decrease from the same time period in 2023 for I guess it's around 73%. So for the remaining 27% of those districts or police precincts, they would have to be the most crime-ridden places throughout the country for that to be an increase in murder rates.
We still have 6 more months left in this year. Who knows? Maybe the crime rates will pick up. Maybe they'll drop more. Jeff Asher, criminal justice analyst and co-founder of the consulting firm Datalytics, says it's plausible that this will be, by far, the largest one-year decline in American history. Which is not, shocking in the sense that we're in the wake of a big increase that was a function of a pandemic.
Yeah. And also, this is in keeping with data that we received a few months ago from the FBI, which, again, just aggregates the statistics from these police agencies, law enforcement agencies, which also showed that murders were down broadly before, I guess, they added some of this data. So it's in keeping with what we've seen as it relates to 2023, now that more information is coming in.
So
that's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
That's a real thing.
I know there are people who have heavily invested in the idea that somehow there's a lot more crime in this country, not least amongst them Donald Trump, who wants to pretend like this is Gotham, and was all excited to, at the Republican National Convention, talk about how, America has fallen into this sort of like dystopian society. But it's just not the case. In the words of Marlowe from The Wire, you want it to be one way, but it's the other way. Now let's go to, this is a great story. Lauren Windsor, who I know we've played some of the audio that she has recorded in the past. She is, she goes around to a lot of these Republican functions. Sometimes she'll put on like a Southern accent,
yes,
which apparently is very effective.
She's genius.
But she will attend these functions. She'll pay for them. She uses a real name, go to the function, and go up and to be fair, pretend that she's a fan of some of these people and act supportive and get them to talk on the record. And she has done this at a Supreme Court gala last week. What was the name of the gala?
It was for the Supreme Court Historical Society.
The Supreme Court Historical Society. Yeah. And all the bigwigs were there.
Yeah.
And she paid for her ticket. She went, like I say, in her own name. And she first approached, I don't know what the order in which she did these things, but I don't know if she did Roberts first or she did Alito and his wife first, but it doesn't matter. Let's play the clip from John Roberts, because I am not a fan of John Roberts. I should just tell you, full disclosure. I don't pull up a flag, let's put it that way, in front of my house or my apartment to show my disdain for John Roberts. But here is John Roberts in what I think the people there felt like would be a off-the-record moment, probably, right? There's no reason. She's recording the device. She doesn't have a microphone in her hand. Somehow she records it. We're not quite clear how. And asking John Roberts these questions and basically saying, she's posing as a Christian conservative herself. And listen to the way that John Roberts responds in a way that I think is like what is indicative of a judicial temperament.
I did want to ask you, specifically, with everything that's going on right now, it just, it's a very tumultuous time in the country, and I'm just curious, from your perspective on the court, how do we start to repair the polarization?
Well, I mean, the first thing I think is to tell me when the non-tumultuous time has been here. I mean, you look at the court, what the court was doing in the 60s, what the court was doing during the New Deal, what the court was doing, after Dred Scott and all this. It's kind of a regular thing. People think it's so different and special. It's been pretty tumultuous for a long time.
So you think this is a normal period?
I don't know if it's normal. I mean, since I've been here almost 20 years, there have been quieter times. But the idea that the court is in the middle of a lot of tumultuous stuff going on, that's nothing new.
I guess I wouldn't say that it's not like it's an innovative thing. It's not new. I guess I really feel like we're at a point in our country where the polarization is so extreme that it might be irreparable.
Oh, I don't think that.
I think
polarization is extreme is like the Civil War. We did that during Vietnam. People were getting killed, and I was there in Vietnam. This is all right. I mean, it's not all right, but it's not like it's as dramatically different. It's a common thing. People in their own perspective think this is so extraordinary. I don't know.
But you don't think there's a role for the court in guiding us toward a more moral path?
No, I think the role for the court is deciding the cases. If I start, would you want me to be in charge of guiding us toward a more moral path? That's for the people we elect. That's not for lawyers.
Well, I guess I believe that the founders were godly, we're Christians, and I think that we live in a Christian nation, and that our Supreme Court should be guiding us in that path.
Yeah, I don't know that we live in a Christian nation. I know a lot of Jewish and Muslim friends who would say maybe not. And it's not our job to do that. It's our job to decide the cases as best we can.
Well,
it's a much more modest job than other people have.
I don't have monopolize your time. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Not at all.
Thank you so much.
All right. You know what? That's a fairly normal response.
I could have answered the same way.
Yeah, pretty close, right? I think pretty close. I would have been a little bit more alarmist by people like her, right. Like that she was portraying to be. But, I'm not a Supreme Court justice. This guy responded in the way that, I hope he feels in his head. But B, even if he doesn't feel that way, understands that he's a Supreme Court justice. And I'm not like some dude who, calls into Mark Levin's show. I'm a Supreme Court justice. I know this is, this isn't like a cocktail party at his house. It's it's not a public event. You got to buy tickets.
Right.
But that's the responsible way a normal, well-adjusted person responds when they are one of the most powerful people in the country, maybe one of the 9 most powerful people, one of the 10, 12,
right,
12, 13 most powerful people who aren't billionaires, frankly, in this country. Now, let's listen to what a lunatic who also happens to be a Supreme Court justice sounds like. This is Sam Alito.
To a random stranger, by the way.
Yeah, well, to be fair, she says, I met you last year.
Right, okay.
And it's at a conservative event, so.
This is not a conservative event.
No, it's a Supreme Court
event. This is a Supreme Court Historical Society gala.
Right, okay.
So it's just a random citizen who, of course, could afford the fee, which I would imagine was quite expensive. But this guy's a lunatic.
Hi, I wanted to say hello to you again. My name's Lauren. I met you last year. I think you already met. So anyway, I wanted to tell apologies. My husband wanted to be here, but had a last minute business thing. And just like make sure that you tell Justice Alito that like he is a fighter and we appreciate him and he has all the grit. And I know it's got to be terrible what you and your family are going through right now. So I'm just so sorry.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
But, and I'm sure you don't remember this at all, but what I'd asked you about was about the polarization in this country, about like how do we repair that rift, and considering everything that's been going on in the past year, you know, as a Catholic and as someone who like really cherishes my faith, I don't know that we can negotiate with the left in the way that like needs to happen for the polarization to end. I think that it's a matter of like winning.
Pause it. So she set up this dynamic.
Yeah.
That the country is polarized, and I'm on the right, and it's the left. I don't think we can negotiate with the left. Now she's talking to a Supreme Court justice.
Yep.
There used to be a thing that they would talk about, judicial temperament. That if you talk to anybody who's a lawyer over the age of 50 and you talk to them about a judge, what's the most important thing? They've got to be smart and have judicial temperament. That's what they'll all say. And judicial temperament, when you're talking about like polarization, the way you respond to that with Roberts, it goes like, it's really not that bad. Right. I mean, we've had a civil war in this country. Vietnam almost tore us apart. The New Deal was, you know, we had almost people, there was almost an attempted coup with FDR. I mean, anybody who has like any type of sense, and I'm not even talking about like you need to be intellectual, you know, it's a heavyweight. You need to be like a middling, you know, of intellect, have some vague notion of the history of the country, and just not be a lunatic. And if you're a Supreme Court justice, you should think that you should surpass that bar. Well, here's how he responds.
It is a matter of like winning.
I think you're probably right. I mean, one side or the other is going to win. I don't know. I mean, there can be a way of working, a way of living together peacefully, but it's difficult, you know, because there are differences on.
Pause it for 1 second. This guy's now saying that there can be a way to live peacefully. Like, what is it that he imagines is going down? We're in like Tim Pool level now, prognostications.
Oh yeah,
as to where we're going. And he says, but it's difficult. All right, go back a little bit because I want people to like hear where he's going with this. This is really disturbing. I don't know that it's anything terribly different than we had speculated.
Right.
But it's one thing to be speculating about this stuff, sitting in my chair speculating about it. It's another to have him so wedded to this worldview that he feels comfortable talking about it to a total stranger who has said, really, I think you're great and you got a lot of grit. You're a great fighter. I'm a fundamentalist Catholic. I know you are too. And then off to the races.
I mean, there can be a way of working, a way of living together peacefully, but it's difficult, you know, because there are differences on fundamental things that really can't be compromised. Really can't be compromised. So it's not like we're going to split the difference.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that the solution really is like winning the moral argument. Like people in this country who believe in God have got to keep fighting for that to return our country to a place of godliness.
Oh, I agree with you.
Can we pause that for a sec? Just leave that up on the screen, that quote. I want to return the country to a place of godliness. There, can we just go back 5 seconds so we can look at the quote? Okay. I like people in this country who believe in God have got to keep fighting for that, to return our country to a place of godliness. That's what undercover, Lauren says. He says, I agree with you. I agree with you. And then you just get that is all you need to see right there. That's Justice Alito essentially saying that the country needs to return to a place of Christian values, or what does godliness means? I mean, you can interpret it in a variety of different ways, but oftentimes it just means to a more conservative mindset that can include things from like controlling women's reproductive health to anti-LGBTQ stuff to white supremacy. It can mean a lot of different things.
Well, let's just remember what Roberts said. Roberts pushed back on this notion of like, that's not our job.
Yep.
It's not our job. And I don't think that I don't think that's what we're supposed to do. Meanwhile, he's talking about, and I hope that Joe Biden hears this. There are fundamental things that can't be compromised. For a long time, we heard from so-called moderate Democrats, conservative Democrats, Hillary Clinton back in 2004, we need to compromise over this whole abortion thing. We can find a middle ground. There is no middle ground with these people. There is no middle ground with these people. They are not looking to reduce teen pregnancies, which we were told back in the 1990s and the aughts. They're not looking to reduce the number of abortions. They're looking to take away the right of people to get abortions, period. And then they're going to take away the right for people to control their reproductive systems, period. That's what's going on here. I mean, there was a clip from Turning Point's memo. Maybe I didn't send that, of where you had someone up there, Turning Point's USA, sorry, woman advocating, we need to stop, you need to stop having sex. You need to stop taking birth control. We need to get rid of this stuff. We need to go back to allowing God to control your bodies. This is not hypothetical. This is not, hysterical. This is a Supreme Court justice who's saying, yes, I agree with you. We got to get back to godliness in this country. In fact, he agrees with her so much, he has to say it twice. Go ahead.
Believe in God, have got to keep fighting for that, to return our country to a place of godliness.
Oh, I agree with you.
Because we look at like the decline of our society, the decline of the nuclear family, and liberals, I just feel like, want to see that happen and proliferate. And I think we've been too permissive to say, okay, I understand the Constitution. I understand. I want to
interrupt. Somebody interrupted. All right, there's no more of this. It goes back to 2023. And there's no more of that conversation. Okay. So there's Justice Alito, saved by the bell, essentially, in many respects. I was very curious to hear what he was going to say after that point. But,
right. It was revelatory, but perhaps not as unhinged as her conversation with his wife.
Well, that's a high bar.
Yeah.
Because this guy's going on, and here is so Lauren Windsor, she has recorded Alito. She has recorded Roberts. Roberts gives answers that you would anticipate from a Supreme Court justice. Alito wants to return this country to godliness. So she heads over to Martha Ann Alito. Now, Sam Alito was in 2005, I think it was, by Bush, or 6. That's where his confirmation hearings are. And so I just want to say that for context, because Martha Alito is apparently still driven by an article that was written about her in 2006.
About her fashion choices.
Now, I'm not saying if you're married to an unhinged person, you are necessarily unhinged. I would never, ever say anything like that. But Alito has given us a little clue as to where he's at. We also know that Alito, by all accounts, leaked information to the Wall Street Journal about the ACA case back in 2012 because he was mad with John Roberts. And then somebody leaked the Dobbs thing that he wrote to the Wall Street Journal. In a way of jamming, essentially, some of the Supreme Court justices who were obviously in the midst of negotiations with John Roberts to try and split the difference a little bit. But remember, Alito says we have fundamental disagreements that cannot be compromised on.
Right.
So that's pretty consistent with trying to inhibit John Roberts from compromising on the Dobbs ruling. So I'm not saying that Sam Alito is unhinged because Martha Alito is unhinged. I'm saying Sam Alito is unhinged because Sam Alito is unhinged. And so is Martha. Here is Lauren Windsor.
Shared values.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, are you Miss Alito? I am. Hi, my name's Lauren. I just met these ladies tonight, but very cool. I'm a huge fan of your husband, and everything that you're going through, I just want to tell you that, like, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. It's not okay, though. It's not okay. It's okay. It's okay because if they come back to me, I'll get them. I'm going to be liberated, and I'm going to. What do you mean by gay? There's a 5-year.
All right, pause it for 1 second. Okay. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm going to get revenge.
Don't you worry, I'm going to get them.
This is really important to listen to because there's a lot of things that is revelatory here. First off, Martha Alito is ready to seek revenge on those neighbors. And she's like, what do you mean? And she's about to say, there's a 5-year statute of limitations on defamation. So we are now in 2024. She can't get at them now, but she's convinced that she can get at them within 5 years. So Sam Alito is planning to retire when Donald Trump becomes president.
Oh, that's a great read.
That's what's happening. He wants to be replaced by somebody much younger, and it's going to be Alito times 2 in terms of lunacy. Absolutely guaranteed on that. And I suspect if they've got Alito leaving, they're going to have Thomas leave too. Now, will they leave if Biden's the president? I doubt it. But it's going to be hard for them to hang on. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But this is already a conversation she has had because she's not thinking about the 5-year defamation statute of limitations if she doesn't think she's going to do that. I mean, she's staying up at night plotting this out.
Well, do you think that when she says them, she's referring to the neighbors or to the media? I think she's referring to the media based on what she says next.
It could be. Either way, whoever it is that she's going to get back.
Because she then goes on to talk about this fashion critic, right? Who at the time, I believe, was working for the Washington Post and is now at the New York Times. Or Bradley, could you look that up? I forget where. Robin Givhan, this particular piece that she's referencing, which Bob Silverman pointed out, and we don't need to get into it, but it's not flaming her for her fashion choices at all. It's just talking about them. But putting that aside for a second, the fact that that's coming out of her mouth in the next sentence means I think she's talking about the mainstream press.
It could be the press. Here we go.
It's okay. It's okay because if they come back to me, I'll get them. I'm going to be liberated, and I'm going to. What do you mean by gay? There's a 5-year defamation statute of limitations.
But I don't know what you mean by gay. Like yeah. Oh, okay.
Come on, I'll get you. Come on. You know, I was denigrated early on when we first came to town. And the woman then won a Pulitzer Prize. She was commenting on my clothes. She said that I wore a baby blanket one day, and the next time I had on a lazy boy recliner pattern suit. And so when she won her Pulitzer, I called her up and I said, "Hello, is this Robin Gavin of the New York Times?" Yes,
Pause it for 1 second. I just want to remind you, we are not, like 40 seconds into a minute and a half, and she is already laid out, quoted the things from a article about her 18 years earlier to a total stranger.
Yep.
I mean, just imagine that you're out and you sit down next to somebody at a restaurant. You're out with your significant other, and you're meeting somebody else's significant. Hi, nice to meet you. How have you been? I heard that you've gone through a rough time. Oh, you bet I have. And then just unload.
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm the Supreme Court Justice's wife. Like, none of that, like, we're at a gala. In fact, when you sit down with that other couple, at least there's like some connection there. This is just a random stranger, and the only connection is, I think your husband's wonderful, and you're being attacked.
I mean,
off to the races.
Off to the races. I mean, I'm sure she was well served at the gala, which maybe made her a little bit more willing to speak there. But like, that article talks about how she had something on that was baby blue. It's not critical of her. It's just about her fashion choices. I don't find fashion reporting to be like the most important thing in the world, but she places her importance in it so like narcissistically above everything else, where this reporter won a Pulitzer for her fashion reporting, but she's saying it was because she went after her. Yeah, I got news for Martha and Alito here. This reporter didn't just cover the Supreme Court in this one article in the year that she won the Pulitzer. She was doing fashion reporting about a bunch of other people, but she thinks it's because the rest of the liberal media was so intoxicated by how she wrote about my fashion choices, that's why they gave her the Pulitzer, because that's what they do. They come after us. 18 years ago. Yep.
18 years ago. She has been her husband has been one of the most powerful human beings on earth for 18 years. And 90 seconds into a conversation with a total stranger, she is listing off how she was wronged in an article.
It said her clothes are more Red Book than Vogue, more main floor than designer salon. There was something charmingly awkward about her blue cardigan, a cable knit cardigan at a Senate hearing. The sweater has all those connotations of Dan Rather informality, softness, ease, and grandmotherly coziness. And then ... The sweater was also baby blue, which I guess is what she's referring to there. But like, can you imagine? It's just, she's harboring that for that long of a period of time.
I mean, those are fire lines. I see why the author won a Pulitzer, especially if they did call it a baby blanket, which is
well. Gavin refers to it as baby blue, like a security blanket.
Okay.
And remember, it says remember Linus. Like it's something. It's kind of like it's an allusion that like to like the color. But again, it's florid prose. It's not like she's not being like it looked like crap.
This isn't Fashion Police. That show used to with Joan Rivers on E. Where they used to tear people up.
If I wrote a line like that and the person was still stewing on it.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Dozen and a half years
Oh my
later.
God. I would have reached the pinnacle of writing. Go ahead.
Won her Pulitzer, I called her up and I said, "Hello, is this Robin Gavin of the New York Times?" "Yes, it is." I said, "Oh, I'm so proud of you. You're getting a Pulitzer Prize." I said, "And will you be wearing Balenciaga?" And she goes, "No." I said, "Why not?" She said, "It doesn't flatter me." I said, "Oh, come on. Such a high-end thing. It doesn't flatter you?" And then I said to her, "You know, it's a beautiful day. It's April 2006. I said, "Maybe we'll go outside today in New York. It's really beautiful. Take a walk and enjoy life." She never came after me again, but she went after Jane Roberts again. That's why she got her Pulitzer between Jane and me, criticizing the clothes that Jane had put the children in and the clothes that we wore.
But why do you think they're coming after you?
They are.
Pause it for 1 second. I just want to say that, like, honestly, like, this is so too.
You can't even make it up.
I'm so flabbergasted as to her proximity to the amount of power that she is close to. I mean, I've met people who are loons in this way, but never who have been so close to so much power.
Like, she's like, did Cruella de Vil have friends in 101 Dalmatians? Because that's what this seems like. Just
she may have had a sidekick, but
how many times do you think she's told that story about calling up that reporter?
it's not even a good burn. It's just
a weird
also
story.
I thought it was Balenciaga, but
Balenciaga?
I mean, I'm not, I guess,
pronunciation.
somebody who gives a crap about what people wear, but it's as if like it's a modern day update on a Jane Austen snob character, right? I mean, that's what she sounds like.
It's
the petty, almost like palace gossip of it all about how her children's clothes and the other Supreme Court justices' wife's clothes. I think that's who she's referring to. Roberts'
she's talking
wife.
to Roberts. Apparently, the woman wrote about Roberts' clothes after that or something. But
I mean, this article's old enough to vote.
God.
And the clothes that we wore.
But why do you think they're coming after you?
They are.
I mean, like the whole like appeal to have heaven flag was like bullshit, right?
Right. But that's, the other thing is the feminazis believe that he should control me.
Yeah.
So we'll go to hell. He never controls me.
Pause it for one
But, like-
second. So the feminazis believe that he should control me. I'll tell you where she learned feminazis from when she listened to Rush Limbaugh until the day he died. That's where she got that.
Oh
from.
yeah.
This is all. This is your standard Rush Limbaugh listener, and she's saying he does not control me. I mean, this is the one moment where I have a little bit of sympathy for Sam Alito. God.
Yeah.
So we'll go to hell. He never controls me.
But like, I have the same flag.
Yeah, I know.
No, but like a lot of people fly that fucking flag.
Don't worry about it, baby.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all
I should
right.
watch my language.
It's all right. It's all right.
I'm sorry. I did not mean.
It's okay. It's okay.
No, but it makes me so angry.
Don't get angry.
It makes me so angry.
Don't get angry. Bye, baby. Bye, cat. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, meow. She's a bad girl.
Cat's escort, Lewis.
Hi, Lewis. Good to see you.
Likewise.
I'm Natasha. Nice to meet you. Hi, Natasha. Yes, we're never going back to Wounded Warriors, I'm afraid.
Isn't that awful, though? Why?
Oh, because of the security, and all that. It's good we did that. We did that. Wonderful.
You really did? Something to be really proud of. Do you know that they created and ran the Wounded Warriors program here?
You would never know that because of how they're trying to
Oh,
persecute.
ignore all that. The reality
I don't
is,
need their approval for anything in my life. I need nothing from them.
You don't, but the problem is that they use you to fuck. Pardon my language. Pardon my language.
Your buyer.
Lewis, I like you.
You deserve it. Thank you.
Take care.
They're persecuting you, and you're like a convenient stand-in for anybody who's religious.
I'm German. I'm in Germany. My heritage is German. You come after me, I'm going to give it back to you. And there will be a way. It doesn't have to be now, but there will be a way. They will know. Just don't worry about it. God, you read the Bible. Psalm 27 is my song. Mine. Psalm 27. The Lord is my God and my rock. Of whom shall I be afraid?
I love that you have that attitude because that's more of what we need. I was telling your husband, I was like, and it should give you like a little bit of background. So I met him last year at this dinner, and I said to him, I was like, this country is so polarized. How do we repair that rift? And he's like, I don't know. It's not our role. And I told him this year, I'm like, for the past year, I remembered our conversation, and I looked at what happened to you and your wife, and I'm like, how is there any negotiating with the radical left? There's not. You cannot negotiate with the radical left. You have to just win.
They feel.
You
They
have
don't think.
No, but you have to win.
Pause it for
And
one
if
second.
we want
Do you hear what she said? They feel. They feel, they don't think. The left feels. This is like
Facts over feelings.
It's like Ben Shapiro level. Like this is.
Yeah.
Well, are we going to skate over what she said about her German heritage? Look at me.
I'm German. The
I don't know what it means, but it could mean meow, 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 I'm a Nazi.
Yeah, I don't understand. I come from a German family. I've never been like, when people get us, we get them back. Like, what?
I don't know. That's some story I feel like she's told herself as to like what justifies it as opposed to her own personal lunacy.
Like, go kaput.
It's ethnically,
Might as well say Teutonic.
It's in my
like
genes, yes.
Like she's like Teddy Roosevelt or something.
Go ahead.
Just win. They feel. You
They
have
don't think.
no, but you have to win. And if we want to take this country back to like a godly place, to a moral place, that means that we actually have to just fucking. Pardon my language again. I'm so sorry.
You know what I want? I want a Sacred Heart of Jesus flag because I have to look across the lagoon at the Pride flag for the next month.
Exactly.
And he's like, oh, please don't put up a flag. I said, I won't do it because I'm deferring to you. But when you are free of this nonsense, I'm putting it up and I'm going to send them a message every day. Maybe every week I'll be changing the flags.
Pause it for 1 second. Just a reminder, the idea that there seems to have been a plan for when you're free of this nonsense. Incidentally, the nonsense is sitting on the Supreme Court as a Supreme Court justice. That's the nonsense that she's referring to. I can't wait until you're no longer one of the 9 most powerful human beings, maybe on the planet. Let's,
outside
the
of
top
money.
50, let's just say.
Okay.
In terms of influencing the structure of society, so that I can put up flags as a way of fighting back against the rainbow flag across the lagoon. Go ahead.
I'm going to send them a message every day. Maybe every week I'll be changing the flags. There'll be all kinds. I made a flag in my head. This is how I satisfy myself. I made a flag. It's white and it's yellow and orange flames around it. And in the middle is the word vergogna. Vergogna in Italian means shame. Vergogna. 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 Shame on you. Anyway.
Well, I just wanted to let you know you have a lot of people rooting for you. Thank you so much.
You know what's funny there? It almost feels like Lauren got like nervous.
I was going to say,
I gotta get the hell out of here.
Lauren Windsor ended the conversation. Like, she could have probably been there for another 45 minutes.
Yeah, right. This woman's a lunatic. I have it in my head. It's flames, it's orange, it's white, it's called Vergogna.
I can even spell it out for you.
Slowly backing
Incidentally,
away.
this is my idea. I don't want to see this flag anywhere else until the day I fly it myself.
I've been creating all these different pillar templates.
Vergogna.
The corkboard.
Look at me.
Vergogna.
Vergogna. Vergogna.
All of a sudden, Lauren Windsor looks around and the entire room's empty and she's locked in with
You're going to help me make this flag, Lauren.
I've got to get out of here. Oh, my God.
Stitching it together, stitch by stitch, stitch by stitch.
Vergogna. Vergogna.
Now I'm going to show you my special flag. If you only fly at midnight.
But if you were at like the bus stop and someone was like, look at me, I'm German. I would be like, I have to get out of here.
Sam, you've got to resign from the Supreme Court. I need to build my flag.
Also,
Vergogna! Vergogna!
Speaking of Germany, Italy.
Just unbelievable. I feel so bad for Sam Alito right now. Vergogna! Vergogna!
God, maybe
I don't
we
think
were
he's melodramatic at all.
Oh, maybe we were wrong. Maybe she is the crazier one.
Oh no, she is the crazier one. I think it's quite clear. But
Lito's managing an impossible situation right now.
Whoa.
Jesus.
I'm just glad she has her flags to occupy her. I mean, God knows what would happen if she didn't have her little hobbies.
I watched the first Omen last night, and that's what that Vergogna part reminded me of.
It's really, honestly.
summoning something.
Folks, I'm going to head to the fun half. God. We got to be mining that thing for drops, please.
Oh no, I'm
I'm
compiling it.
It's tough because there's a lot of background noise, but yeah.
I mean, not for meow meow meow. That's what I'm adding to my personal little soundboard.
That is amazing. Folks, it's your support that makes the show possible. You can become a member
imagine James O'Keefe like backing away from somebody he like that? Like, okay, I think we got enough.
I mean, the Vergonia thing, it sounds like a vampire blood ritual or something, and like you're chained down, and the witch comes. Well, I guess now I'm mixing, but comes over and says, "Vergonia, you'll rue this day."
When I was living in Somerville with Benjamin back in my comedy days, a couple of Seventh-day Adventists knock on the door, and by the time, like 45 minutes later, they're like, "We have to go."
Looking at their watch.
We have to go. That's what it felt
it's like. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. I didn't hear your phone ringing. It's on silent.
Oh,
Lauren Windsor's there with the biggest scoop of her life, and she's like, "I gotta get out of here. I'm afraid of this woman."
She gets invited like to the second location.
Wait, where are you going? Where are you going? Wait a second. I didn't tell you about the second flag.
You can come back to my.
Wait, what about the other flag I made? I only told you about one.
I have so much more. I'm ready to spill.
What is that? What is that? The German word for the knife in the back?
Durchschlusslegende.
What about my Durchschlusslegende flag? Wait a second. I didn't tell you about it.
We should check to see if Vergonia actually is like a Nazi thing, and if it's not, we should make T-shirts.
Yeah, I think if you search Mussolini Vergonia, I think you'll probably find something.
But if it's not, we should make Vergonia T-shirts and steal her idea.
Oh, definitely. Oh, we should definitely.
Like with all of the things she
flag.
describes there.
We got to get the flag. We've got to draw the flag.
I know. I mean, honestly, she might truly lose it at that point.
Make a killing on Vergonia flags.
Next year at the same event, Lauren walks up to her and she's like, "There is a 5-year statute of limitations on copyright violation. And I'm going after those people who made the flag with my flag.
It's my flag.
Vergonia on them. Vergonia on them." Folks, it's your support that makes this show possible. We could be producing so much more content like this with your help. You can become a member at jointhemajorityreport.com. When you do, you not only get the free show free of commercials, but you also get the fun half. Jointhemajorityreport.com. Also, don't forget justcoffee.coop. Fair trade coffee. Hot chocolate. Majority Report blend. Use the coupon code majority, get 10% off. Justcoffee.coop. Because it's a co-op. Emma.
On ESPN yesterday, we talked about the Celtics Mavs, Panthers Oilers so far in the two championships, what's going on with Kyrie Irving, and why the Celtics are so dominant right now. And also the WNBA collectively and media reacted to the women's U.S. Olympics roster the WNBA reacted fine, but the media pundits decided to be entirely unhinged about it. YouTube.com/ESPN show. Matt, what's happening on Left Reckoning?
Yeah, tonight we got Ben Fong on the show once again, and we're talking about the Odd Fellows, which is like a sort of fraternal organization. You ever heard of them? At one time, they were one of the biggest in the country, and so it's kind of the legacy of fraternal organizations, and sort of along the lines of the Theta Scotch Paul decline of civic organizations and what that means for society and politics. Tonight, patreon.com/Left Reckoning. Oh, we'll also talk about Jimmy Dore people harassing Jill Stein.
Is that right?
Apparently she's selling them out. If you can.
Who's left? Who are they supporting now?
I don't know. Cornell West?
No,
why not?
Cornell's too woke for them.
Oh.
If you know what I mean. So.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the RFK kind of thing going on.
Is it RFK or is it
It's kind of RFK. I mean, for fundamentally, it's just
They've
purely,
got to
it's
find
pure
some-
negation. They can't be positive.
They're going to find somebody who is on absolutely no ballots to vote for.
And then feel sold
It's
out
going to
by
be a
them.
write-in.
Vote your conscience.
We raised a lot of money to write in your name as a presidential candidate.
Jimmy Dore could have ran, but his wife didn't let him.
I know it. And that producer probably too.
It's also hard when you have to go on the road with vaccine injuries.
Wait a second. No. Wait. Happy news. Did you guys already talk about Demi Jor tweeting out that video American College of Pediatricians in it they state that trans minors should be able to receive health care? And Dor just snidely remarks, LOL, I'm sure they're all phobes.
Yeah, it was that sort of right-wing group of pediatricians who make sure they wear their lab coats when they make press conferences. And Jimmy's like, oh, you probably think these are bigots. And it's like, yeah, those are. Those are not that's not the actual major pediatrics organization.
In it, they state that trans minors should be able to receive health care.
I think that's a mistype because
Oh, okay.
they're attacking trans care. I'm like,
Yeah.
All right, folks. See you in the fun half.
You are in for it.
All right, folks. 646-257-3920. See you in the fun half.
Are you ready?
Who sent us this?
Alpha males are back. Boy is back. And the alpha males are back.
Just as delicious as you could imagine.
The alpha males are back. Boy is back. And the alpha males are back.
Just wanna degrade the white man.
Alpha males are back.
I take all of it to my throat.
Alpha males are back.
Snowflake says what?
The alpha males are back.
You are a madman.
And the alpha males are back.
Oh no, Sam Cedar! What a fucking nightmare!
Bring back DJ.
Yeah, or a couple of them. Just put them in rotation.
DJ Denner.
well, the problem with those is they're like 45 seconds long, so I don't know if they're enough of a break.
That's fucking nonsense. You see white people doing drugs, they look worse than normal white people, and all white people look disgusting.
And the alpha males
Psych. Fuck them.